Holla, everybody.
You.
Got another episode of Kyle and Corin here. First of all, everybody go give Corin some love on Twitter because he just came back from a holiday party to make sure that you lovely people got a full dose of Kyle and Corin.
Yeah, people were trying to hate on me this morning because I put out a tweet about, your fans are mean on me, man. I mean, sometimes they're cool, sometimes they're not. But I put a tweet about because when I used to grow up, when I grew up, I played on fields that had mad geese shit on it.
Yeah, like I did too. Sure.
Yeah. Everybody you play soccer, football, and there's just geese shit everywhere.
Yep.
There wasn't someone going around cleaning up all that geese shit, so It must have just eventually sank in there.
Yeah, it's just part of the grass after a while.
Exactly. So my dogs go out in my backyard. I have this because they're not trained well enough where they could just go roam in my backyard. I don't have an electric fence, all that shit. So I just let them out of my backyard on this. I hook them up to this attachment, and it goes 50 feet, 75 feet.
Yeah.
And they just roam around my backyard, and they just take a shit whenever they want. Usually, I've been going out there and picking up all their crap, and I take a plastic bag, and it fills up with all their poo. I usually go a week later into all their poo.
Mm-hmm.
But lately, I've just been lazy, and I've just been fuck it.
You're just going to leave it?
I'm just going to leave it because I feel like...
It's your backyard, right?
It's my backyard, but I feel like I've heard that manure, whatever it's pronounced...
Manure, yeah, you got it right. Manure.
Is good for the grass, and it's like a natural fertilizer.
I mean... If it's your own property, you can do whatever the fuck you want to do. You could have a bear shit back there if you want. But that's why people...
I can take a shit back there.
Yeah, you can if you want. That's why people were giving you shit? Because you said that or no?
No, because my grammar was all fucked up.
Oh, yeah, no, because I read that tweet. I was like, I don't get what he's saying. I saw the first line. I was like, I get what you're saying about the geese shit. But then, as I kept reading it, I, lost the thought. I didn't see the line of it.
I used to do that. When I was back in the day, when I was I used to write to because I would want to get into college basketball, and I would write to college basketball coaches or college basketball programs, and I would try and write the shit myself, but then my sister was I think she was an English major, so she's really good at writing and knows punctuation, where to put commas and all that shit. I don't know where to put any of that stuff, so I would be I have really good content, but I never know how to make it
Get
seem
it out
good.
There. Sure. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. So, I guess the content of my tweet was good, but the punctuation and all that shit wasn't good.
But, hold on. Should I go to the tweet now? I'm going to go to the tweet and see what you say.
Yeah. Well, and also the iPhone fucked me up because they still
now
don't
you're blaming the iPhone. Oh, because of the I thing?
Have you had that error or no? Did you come across that with the I changed to the question mark?
I think my phone automatically updated one night, so it went away. But I did have that problem for a little bit.
It's just annoying.
Okay, so here we go. Your tweet was, if no one... Oh, I know why they were ripping on you. If no one ever picked up... You wanted to say, if no one ever picked up the geese droppings from the soccer fields I used to play on, do I really have to pick up the dog poo from my backyard? I'm going to skip today. Yeah, I mean, they're probably ripping on you because of the grammar, but...
I respect the girl that someone tweeted at me, some chick, and just wrote #grammar.
All right, let's go through this. Let's go through the responses here. It's gonna be funny. Love you, Corin, but I don't understand what you just said. That's from Jacob. And then we got, hey Corin, what does your wife have to say about this? That's pretty funny. Geese droppings. Did you play soccer at Mayberry High School?
I didn't get that one. I don't know what's Mayberry High School.
And then #grammar was from Milahan. Yeah.
Shout out to Milahan.
That's pretty funny. Yeah, no, I get what you're saying, man. I get what you're saying. So how was this? How was this party that you were at? You were just telling me it was at Top Golf, which I'm jealous if it was at Top Golf because I want to play Top Golf and I'd fuck everybody up at Top Golf because you gotta.
Oh, I wish you were there.
It's got for those of you who don't know, it's like a points game with golf, at a driving range, where if you hit it in a certain space, you get certain amount of points.
Yeah, shit lights up, and it's cool looking out in the driving range. It's like a regular driving range.
Yeah.
But the certain areas you can hit it to light up, and you get points depending on how far you drive it and how accurate you drive it. It's really cool.
It is cool. There's none around me, or else I would go to that shit.
Yeah. I think there's one. I think they opened one up in New Jersey.
Okay.
Might be the closest to New York.
But they have drinks there. They have food there. Do you have any of the food or no?
I had the drinks.
What drink did you have?
I'm a little extra.
What drink did you have?
Corona. Corona's my drink of choice.
So you went beer.
Yeah, went beer. Had a couple vodka Sprites.
Okay.
Couple shots. There was like hot because
damn,
it's
son.
outside. Yeah.
This list keeps growing.
There was couple shots, tequila shots, and then there was also like these hot chocolate shots. And because we were outside, it was cold.
Oh, it has to be freezing.
Yeah. So like I guess they had this. Someone always discovers this one drink that like everybody likes or whatever, and it was like this hot chocolate type shot. You remember those old chocolates? I don't know if they're old, but it came in like a green wrapper, and it was like a chocolate, and it had like a little green line through it. It was called like Andes or Ames or something like that.
I don't think I do.
But
that's what it tasted like. It tasted like those things.
Exactly like it.
It was probably delicious, right?
It was pretty good.
Yeah.
Isn't that weird how you ever had those drinks where someone's like, they go to the bar and they're like, hey, let me get the Dr. Pepper shot. Or let me get the like root beer Dr. A&M shot. And it tastes identical to like what a drink would, like what a soda tastes like or something.
Yes, I've had delicious drinks like that, but here's my problem. I never fucking remember what they're called. In fact, sure. I'm going to text my friend... I had at like their wedding this drink. They were having this drink, and they were like, "Oh, you should try this. I bet you'd like it." And they said it to me, and I was like, "I'm not gonna like that shit." Mm-hmm. And then I tried it, and I was like, "This is the most delicious drink I've ever had in my life." So I'm gonna text.
Was it on the more candy side or like more soda-y side?
I feel like vanilla-y or something, or
okay.
It was like a mix of like an after dinner drink and something else. It was. I'm just gonna ask, and I'll get the answer, and then I'll tell everybody. And then I am recommending this shit to everybody who's listening right now because you will fucking love it. Yeah, but that sounds like fun, man. Did you have anything to eat when you were there or no?
They had some appetizers, chicken dumplings.
That sounds good.
What else? They had meatballs, and then they had some chicken, mashed potatoes, like hors d'oeuvres type of stuff.
I'm not the biggest meatball
good.
fan. Are you a big meatball fan or no?
No, I didn't really get down with the meatballs.
I feel like meatballs are too heavy. Mm-hmm. Like, you know what sucks? You eat like meatballs and then like 3 hours later you burp. And it's just like, that's the grossest fucking taste ever.
I'm simple. Like, when I go to a wedding, one, I'm not a fan of just like cheese, like the cheeses when they put out like that stuff.
Oh, right, like the antipasto thing. Yeah.
I'm a big fan of pot stickers.
Oh, pot stickers are fucking from heaven.
Staple. Exactly.
Delicious.
How are you with crab cakes?
I mean,
no, right?
They're always better than I expect them to be because I don't really taste the crab, but I don't love them.
But you try it? Like you're okay to try it? I wouldn't.
I've had it, and it's always you know what it's like the movie Snakes on a Plane. It's better than I expected, but like I expected it to be the grossest thing ever. And then it's just like mediocre, and I'm like, okay. But I don't have that unless, like, I would only eat some shit like that if I am starving.
True.
Yeah.
Because I saw them, and they sort of looked like potato latkes a little bit, because it looked like potato-y on the outside. Those shits are delicious. Banging.
Those are unbelievably delicious.
Banging.
First time I had those was in, like, grade school. Somebody brought them in, and I ate them, and I was like, what the fuck is this? This is the most delicious thing I've ever had.
You're like... I mean, your whole show is secular, and you grew up in a secular-ish area where there was Jews, Catholics. But did you know? I mean, like you knew Jewish people growing up, right? Like you went to bar mitzvahs and stuff like that.
Yeah, of course.
You'd be so surprised because, like, my wife is from an area. When I first met her, we went to a diner by her house, and I was like, "Oh, we'll go to the diner. Like, they must have like just like a matzo ball soup or something like that."
They don't.
But like, not even they don't. She was like, what's that? Like, what's matzo ball soup? Like, one, didn't even know what matzo ball soup was. And then two, had to start thinking of like, oh, yeah, there was a couple Jewish people in my grade. But like, outside of New York, There's not that many Jewish people that like people grow up with. They
That's
don't know
exactly
bar
what I was
mitzvah,
going
bar
to say.
mitzvahs.
So, first of all, when the numbers are astonishing, actually, there's not that many Jews in the world. Like,
Oh, really?
It's written. No, in fact, I'm going to look it up now because because the numbers, I remember being blown away by it.
Which is crazy because they have their own like fucking state,
And
you know.
you
like
would think, like, when you think of the big religions, probably the main ones, everybody goes Christianity, Islam, Judaism, and then you throw in like Hinduism and Buddhism, you know. But here you go. Oh no, that's not the right answer. Hold on, I'll find it. But it's a lot smaller than. Oh, let me just type in size of religions. But I was gonna say our area that we grew up in, it is a much higher concentration of Jewish people in the New York area than there is in most other places around the
anywhere
country.
else. Yeah.
Like there are other places where there are a decent number of Jewish people, but there are like some places
like
that
where
just
though?
have
Like
none.
Florida?
Well,
Florida
I
has
think
people because they moved from New York.
Probably in California and some places too. But like in the middle of the country, I don't think there's almost any. You know? Okay, so let's see. Christianity, the biggest religion in the world, 2.4 billion. Jesus Christ.
Jesus.
Literally, Jesus Christ. Islam, second biggest, 1.6 billion. Then you have secular, they say, 1.1 billion. Hinduism, 1.15 billion. Buddhism, 376 million. Oh, wow. Judaism, 14 million total.
Wow.
So
that's surprising,
isn't it? Because that's just us being biased by the context where we grew up. Because we grew up around a lot of Jewish people, a lot of Christian people, but like Catholics probably mostly, but also maybe some Protestants, people who just weren't religious. And then it was a mix of races too, Hispanic, black, white. But that's just us being biased by our context. There's some places in the country where you go, there's no black people, you know, there's no Jews. So it's like, what is this? So yeah, I'm actually not crazy surprised, come to think of it, as to the response of your wife, because it's like where she is from, there just weren't like, okay, there were a few Jewish people, you know, not that many. By us, I guess the smallest minority around us, at least as far as I remember, is probably like Asian. Would you agree? Like, I feel like we had not as many, and when I say Asian, I mean like Chinese specifically. Like there wasn't Chinese or Japanese people. There's a decent number of Indians, so South Asian, but not. I don't recall Chinese. Do you? Growing up?
No, not really.
Just like a handful, like one or two. I remember.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's interesting stuff, man.
But the Chinese or Japanese they'd still fall in that Christian Catholic category, right?
No, I think Shinto is. I think it's Shinto is the big.
Oh, they have their own
religion in
thing?
Japan. Let me double check that.
That's interesting. I didn't know that.
Dominant religion in Japan. I don't know why Shinto popped. Yeah. Oh, Shinto and Buddhism are the two major religions in Japan. And then in China, they're non-religious. In fact, it's like literally, and I don't even agree with this. It's on paper, it's a communist country. They don't really act like one. They act more like a hyper-capitalist country. But I think they have like almost state-enforced atheism. So
that would almost sound like a good thing, right? Or no?
No, because you're forcing people. Like, I'm an atheist, but I want to just give people the freedom to be whatever the fuck they want to be. My understanding is that in China, they actively like oppress all religious beliefs because their view is that like threatens the power of the state. You see what I'm saying? So religion in China. Okay, let's see what they say. This is the all-trusty Wikipedia. China has long been a cradle, blah, 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 blah. Let's see. I want to get to the part where they cut.
I love how Wikipedia can be super accurate, but then like right after an incident happens, it could be super inaccurate.
Yeah. It's
like
funny.
Austin Rivers, I know in the NBA, he had got into a confrontation with someone on the sidelines or something like that, and was like
Uh-huh.
cursing them out. And right after that happened, someone went to his Wikipedia page and changed his profile picture to like a trash can.
Oh shit.
But it's just like people go to this website to look for accurate information, and then at the most important time when you go to that website to look for the most accurate information, it's most likely when that shit is going to be most inaccurate.
That actually happened with Steve Mnuchin, who's the Goldman Sachs guy who Trump picked to be in his administration. I think it was Treasury Secretary he picked him for. I I looked him up to learn more about him on Wikipedia when he got picked, and it said name Steve Mnuchin, occupation Satan.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
It was funny.
if you went at a regular time to look at that, I'm sure his occupation would have been right. It would have been like secretary, whatever the fuck he does. But like the time when you were searching him was probably when he was like hot, or probably when a lot of shit was going on about him. So someone went on there and fucking changed his shit.
Okay, so I'm not getting a good answer here. The government formally recognizes 5 religions: Buddhism, Taoism, Islam, Protestantism, and Catholicism. But then when
They
I
don't
click
recognize Judaism?
in China, no, they say the government
Oh, in China.
formally recognizes 5 religions. And I don't even know what that means. Formally recognizes. But then there's this other site, but this sounds like bullshit. TravelChinaGuide.com.
Shit sounds fake.
They say according to the latest survey, 85% of Chinese people have religious beliefs or had some religious practices, and only 15% are real atheists. I'm not sure. So I'll just plead ignorance on this. I'm not sure. But my understanding was in the past, and this could be wrong, that China was kind of like state-sanctioned atheism, if you will. But yeah, I don't know, whatever. By the way, we have an answer for my drink. Amaretto and ginger ale.
That shit sounds good. Amaretto is what? Like,
I don't know, but it's delicious. I think that's the after-dinner drink, amaretto. But it was delicious. I remember drinking it going, holy shit.
yeah. There's some drinks that just work so well together.
Yeah, and then there's others. We spoke about this already, but the fruity drinks where you could have a lot of them and then you don't even realize, like, oh shit, I had too much to drink. Because you had like 6 fucking, high C, cherry, fucking fruity McDicks. Yep. And then you drink it and you're like, oh, wow, this is tasty. And then you die.
Yep. That was this hot chocolate shot that was just like...
How many did you have of the hot chocolate one?
A good amount. I don't know.
You have water next to you? You're probably thirsty as fuck because you got that dry.
No. I got butter snap pretzels.
That's the opposite of water.
And I still got my dust buster from last week.
Oh, nice. Don't start spraying it. You'll get in trouble.
I don't have my drink. I usually have a drink that like keeps me awake, but I didn't have a drink this time.
I had the sour gummy worms right before I came on, sticking with our tradition.
The trolley kind?
No, it was like the store brand one, whatever the CVS store brand one is. It was delicious.
Oh, those are good. But you know the brand Trolley?
Yeah, I had those too. They're pretty good too. But I actually like the store brand more.
I just saw that CVS bought out some health. Like, there's definitely backdoor shady shit going on with CVS.
Yeah, that's not good. It's like they made a deal with Aetna, but like
for billions, like crazy billions. Like I heard on the news, it was like CVS. Like they try to say it on some like just like right before Colbert show was about to start. It was like CVS buys whatever for $29.5 billion. Next up, Stephen Colbert. I was like, whoa, I feel like that should be a bigger story.
Yeah, because we don't have like... That's going to lead to an even shittier healthcare system. I mean, we already have a shitty healthcare system because we have health insurance companies that are fucking people over. And instead of moving towards a Medicare for all system, we're just having these shitty health insurance companies get even bigger and more shittier. So, I mean, this is like with net neutrality too. There's a similar thing going on. These companies are just like the internet service providers are just. Some markets only have like one option when it comes to an internet service provider, so they give the shittiest fucking service ever, and then now you've given them more power. Like, with net neutrality, they could speed up sites and slow down sites and fucking and like
that's almost just like when you control everything, you can just like have a shittier product because you don't have
need something fixed?
Right?
We'll send somebody to help you out next Thursday. Like, wait, what? Really? What? How? Why is that? Well, they're the only people in town. They're the only game in town, so you can't like cancel on them and go to somebody else. Okay, so let me read you a tweet because this sums
so fucked up because it's almost like that's what makes what you do and with other people that has like competition so good. Like what makes people who like you enjoyable is like you do such a good job because there's so much competition out there. It's like you have to do a good job. If there wasn't that much competition out there, you could do a shitty job and people are going to follow you regardless. Whereas if you were the only game in town, you could be like, I'm going to just put a shitty video together and people are going to like it regardless. But since they could find someone else that's just as good, they trust you because your information is good.
So speaking exactly to that point you just made, listen to this. Apple TV doesn't have Amazon. They don't have a deal with Amazon. Fire TV has Amazon Prime, but no YouTube. Roku are the only ones that have YouTube and Prime. So, like, we're witnessing, like, the kind of fragmentation of the digital world in a weird way. Where it's like, oh, you want this awesome new product? Well, sorry, that awesome new product doesn't carry like YouTube or this other product that you've been using fucking forever. So it's like, well, it's just insane that they're now going to like put up, this is the problem with net neutrality. Ajit Pai is a fucking scumbag and the FCC, all the people on the board are fucking scumbags because I think it's 3 dudes and they're going to destroy the internet as we know it. They're going to make it so that when you want to buy a package for the internet, you're going to have to pick. You're going to have to pick. What do I want? Do I want this company, which gives me access to, I don't know, make it up, YouTube and Netflix or whatever? Or do I want that company, which gives me access to Twitter and Facebook? And, like, you're going to have to pick. Like, you're going to have to pay out the ass to get all. And that's the thing. That's what they're really going to do is they'll allow you access to everything, but they'll just jack up the price for it. Because that was the whole move all along, is to try to fucking get more money out of you. It's terrible, man. It's fucked up. Yeah. But let's talk about happier things. That I was watching National Geographic Wild, and I was just so amazed by so much of the shit that was happening. So I watched a show on like the different like sex things that animals do. And like
sex thing or
sex things. Imagine like you see a fucking horse trying to sext with his hooves, like hitting it. So one of the things that they spoke about. So there's this. They called it a marsupial. It looks like a little fucking rat, basically, and it grows to the point where it can fuck, and then it fucks for 12 hours straight and dies immediately after. So like their whole life works up to the point where they're ready to fuck, and then they fuck for 12 hours and then they just like turn over and die.
Damn.
That's their life. Their life is like, okay, I'm just going to go and then I'm going to fuck it's a 12-hour fuckathon and then they die. Isn't that crazy?
That's wild.
And it's not like that fucking thing can decide like I don't want to fuck. Like they have at a certain age, they're just like, I'm gonna fuck, and I don't know if they know if they're gonna die or whatever, but they do it and then they just die. So I was like, that's fucking weird. Imagine if that happened with people. And then it gets even weirder. So then there's praying mantises.
Yeah, those are weird.
So for praying mantises, the guy. The male praying mantis will like do like a dance thing for the female praying mantis, and then it goes to fuck, and as they go to fuck, they're like trying to not be that near the female praying mantis because what the female praying mantis does is it eats the praying mantis, the male praying mantis. So as it's fucking, it will bite its head off. I'm serious. And then they say that even if they bite the head off and they succeed in doing that, there's still like the nerve endings in the lower part of the praying mantis's body still make it so that they'll nut inside the female praying mantis. So their head is off, but their body's like still fucking. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, it's wild. How is that even like natural? Like, how does that seem natural? How is that?
Dude, I don't know. Then they were talking about this happens with lions and with bears too. But so with bears, like a male bear will wake up out of hibernation, and then like when it gets up out of hibernation, within 2 weeks, it's looking to fuck. And if a female already has cubs, they'll just try to kill the cubs. They'll just try to kill the cubs so that they could fuck the female, because the female will refuse to fuck if they have cubs. So they just. I
feel like the female will get super defensive over that. Like I feel like
they do. Like the female will fight the male. The female will fight the male, but if the male succeeds in killing the kids, then he gets to fuck the female. And the same thing happens with lions, where like the female lion will try to fight off the male lions, because the male lion will kill the cubs to fuck the female.
That's crazy. Because I feel like that maternal thing in animals is such a like important thing.
It is.
From what I've seen, 100%. Just from my eyes, like even just driving and seeing like not geese, but like whatever across the street. I don't know. Is it geese? Maybe it's geese.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they like cross the street and it's like the mother and like their kids behind them, or you see viral videos of like one dove or something who jumps off the ledge and then all the like little doves or whatever follow them. It's like I feel like that motherly thing is so important, that the mother is so protective of like their kids, that if someone were to try to kill their kids, I'd feel like they'd try to fight them.
They fight like a motherfucker. I saw they were showing videos of it. But then there's other ones that are even more disturbing. Like there's a certain, I don't know if it's just regular ass rats or it was a specific kind of rat, but like so they'll give birth and they'll have like, let's say 6 or 7 fucking, baby rats in their litter. And like all of them will be feeding on the mother, like whatever, sucking the teat and the milk comes out. I don't know. Do rats have milk? I don't know. Whatever they're getting out of the rat, whatever it is, they're getting their nutrition from their mother. And then if one of them is not feeding or is incapable of like getting that nutrition, the mother will eat that rat right there. The mother will eat her own baby.
What the fuck?
Exactly. And I saw that this morning. I was like traumatized. I'm watching this rat eat this baby rat, and the fucking person who does the commentating is like, there's actually normal in the rat world that if one is not going to make it because they don't know how to feed or they're sick for whatever reason, the mother's too busy nursing the other rats to go get something to eat somewhere else. They'll just eat the baby. I was like,
I wouldn't have been able to watch that shit. I wasn't even able to watch the fucking rat video of the rat that went into the subway in New York City and like picked up the piece of pizza.
Oh, that was gross. Yeah,
I couldn't watch that shit.
It was like running with the big ass fucking pizza thing.
I used to think about mosquitoes, but I think this happens with bees too. Because I think with mosquitoes, once they sting you, they die. Or maybe that's how it is with bees, with like their stinger.
Yeah, it's with something that happens. Yeah,
it's either mosquitoes or bees, or one of those where it's like they sting you and then they die.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then I try to compare that to like humans. Would there be anything that like if someone was like, yo, you could do this for a day and just wild out, but then after you die? And then I crazy think about, this is weird that my mind goes here, but the dudes who did the 9/11 hijacking.
That's what they were thinking, yeah. Because they think
the night before they went out, they went to like strip clubs.
Yeah.
And they just wilded out at strip clubs and they showed what they did, and it was just like all like just crazy shit.
Yeah.
And it was just like they did all that and then they killed themselves because they thought they were like going to a higher land or something like that. But is that like what like people would do? Like, is that our bee? So is that our bee mosquito biting someone?
Yeah, if you had 1 day left, what would you do? I don't know. First of all, would you even want to know if you had 1 day left? I don't think I would. I mean, on the one hand, you do want to know because then it's like, okay, now's the time. Let's make it like this has to be important. This has to be big. This has to be like I have to do whatever it is that means the most to me, like right now. Yeah. And the other part of me is like, wouldn't you be in just complete and utter misery? Like, wouldn't you just be like, oh my God, that's it. Tomorrow's the end. What was this all for? I feel like I would just be so overwhelmed with fucking negative emotions and like that I don't even think I'd want to know. Because I feel like I'm going about my business okay, not knowing the exact date I'm going to expire. And isn't it crazy that there is a date that everybody's going to fucking expire?
That's what I was just about to say.
Like, that date exists. Like, exactly. Me and you were sitting here. There is a date in the future. Let's just make up some... In fucking...
Like 74.
On June 3rd in 2076 at 3:40 at night, I'm going to die. Like, I'm going to die. That's the fucking time and place. Like, there is a date, and that's fucking crazy and scary. Because there's
someone's going to take that snippet right there in 1974 or whatever date you just said.
Imagine that's exactly when I die.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Someone's going to take that on that date in like 50 years or whatever you just said that shit. She's like, this guy predicted his death.
I will be pretty old then. I'll be... Oh, shit. That'll be... What did I say? 2076 or some shit? Well,
I don't know what you said.
So I was born in 88. So 98 to... I'm so bad at math. 88, 98, 2000. So 76 plus 12 is what? 76, 86, 87, 88. Yeah, 88. I think I'd be lucky to make it to 88. I mean...
I feel like it's probably best not knowing when your expiration date's going to be.
Yeah.
But if someone were to say to you right now, like, you're going to live another 62 more years...
I don't even want to know that.
Would that be good? Because
no, I don't want to hear it. Because I'm thinking, oh my God, that's only 62 years?
Same.
Even though that's a long time, it's like, but you just said a very finite thing. Like, you just said 62 years.
Yeah.
So then I'm thinking, fuck, I wanted to make it to like 70. Why can't I make it to 72 years from now? Like, you're going to always think more. It's like, I just wanted more. Because that's
why I'm so fascinated
we're hardwired.
by, like,
we're hardwired for that. And so, like, with the bees, I don't know if they have no idea probably that if they sting, they die. You know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's like when they're hovering around a person and someone's, like, smacking them and, like, it's like, well, yo, just be easy. Because if he bites you right now, he's going to die. So he might not want to bite you. He might just be fucking with you.
I like how you're concerned about the bee. Care about the bee's feelings.
No, but, like, they don't know what they're doing. Like, they don't know if they bite you, their life is over. Or maybe they do know. It's like, I might bite this dude just because, like, fuck him. I'll risk my life to give this guy a bee sting.
Let me ask you a question. How many years does Trump have left?
Like, in his life?
In his life.
What is he, like, 70-something years old?
72, I think?
He's in his 70s, right?
Yeah, he's up there, man. I mean, the reason I ask that is because he's in his 70s, and he's pretty heavy. Like, he's pretty overweight. And
I would think someone in his position, whether he uses them or not, he has like a nutritional coach around him or somewhere.
A lot of people have when I've asked this question to a few people, and pretty much everybody's given me that answer of like, listen, he's like rich, and when you're rich, you get like awesome doctors, and you just live a lot longer when you're rich. And that's definitely true statistically, but at the same time, Trump is not a guy to take anybody's advice. He's not going to take fucking the advice of some nutritionist or some shit. He's going to eat whatever the fuck he wants. I mean, we already know that he doesn't exercise because he thinks exercise drains your finite life battery. So he thinks the less you do, the healthier you are because you're saving your life energy.
Exercising.
So it's like, if he eats like shit, which he does, he loves fast food, and he doesn't exercise. I mean, he plays golf every now and then, but he drives a cart. So... I mean, like, it's not crazy to think he could be dead. He could die tomorrow, and it wouldn't be crazy because it's like he could have a heart attack, he could have fucking clogged arteries, he could have a stroke. You know what I'm saying? Like, I
think the only thing that really takes a toll on him is just, could be, if it gets to him, is stress. But what does he ultimately do? Like, he wakes up.
He's the fucking president.
Yeah, but like, he sleeps, he wakes up. He stands in front of people. He's not. I love your
description of the president's job.
I mean, he's not like taxing his body. He's not like doing like taxing shit on his body.
Dude, like, when you're overweight like he is, he could have died at 65 from a heart attack, and it wouldn't have been it would have been like, oh, he died at 65.
Yeah, but outside of like health problems, like my dad is 70-something.
Your dad's not fat.
But he's not fat. But when it's wintertime, like he's got to shovel his car out. He's got to do
But that's
shit.
good. That's better for him than Trump sitting on his fat ass all day.
Yeah, but I think that exposes you more to like shit where you could slip on ice and maybe you fall and
But I'm
do
not talking
this.
about dying from accidents. I'm talking about dying from the shit that's the killer of most Americans, heart disease. Like, listen, and I'm guilty of this too. You look at Trump, and on some level in your mind, like it looks like he's not even old. Like it just looks like he exists. Like he's this thing. Like he doesn't have an age. He just is because he's got that orange face which doesn't appear in nature anywhere else, and he's got the like fucking dyed blonde hair. But like the coloring of his appearance almost makes it look like he's not really old. He just kind of is Trump. But the reality is the dude is in his fucking 70s. And that's dye on his hair, and it's probably fucking, some sort of tanner on his face. And he's overweight, so he could die anytime from fucking heart disease. I mean, he could live to 98. What the fuck do I know? But I'm just saying.
Yeah, I think he's all right for a while, and I'm not a fan of the guy at all. But I think if you just like stay in your lane and just do what you do, like I look at my dogs, and like they just wake up, I let them out, they come back in, they chill in the house all day, they eat, they sleep, they shit, they go to sleep. Like they just do what they do. Occasionally they'll bark when someone comes to the door, and that's like them talking. Like that's what Trump does. Like he wakes up, he talks, he sleeps, he plays golf. Like he's just in his lane.
How does that inoculate him from dying at any time? Being
Because
fat
he's
and
just doing what he
70-something?
does. Like he's just being his like a human.
Grim
Like,
Reaper don't give a fuck, dog. They don't care. People have
he's
died.
not doing anything outside of his extraordinary shit that would like expose him to dying.
Yeah, but like, okay, listen, I had an uncle who I think he was like 61 years old. He had just like a little pain in his legs for like 2 or 3 days. And then he ended up going to the hospital after was like, I don't know what this is, but I'll just go to the hospital and see what's up. It was fucking blood clots, and then when he was at the hospital, one of the blood clots went loose, and then he had a fucking stroke and he died at age 61. Son, he was never in bad shape. Like, he was more fit than a guy like Trump. Like, that shit happens. That shit happens.
But he probably like worked, and he probably did. He had to go grocery shopping.
But,
like he had to get his car fixed.
No, but I'm telling you, with this uncle, if anything, was the opposite. He was big time into computers, and his job was with computers, and so he would just sit down all the time. He'd always be sitting down. So he was a very sedentary lifestyle. And, Trump, that can be said about him. And again, Trump's a lot fatter than like, this is what I'm saying, man. This is why I wanted to have this conversation, because, like, nobody thinks about that with
I just
Trump.
feel like he doesn't do the normal shit that like a normal person has to do.
And what
like
I'm saying is, that's right, but his lifestyle is even worse than what a normal person would have to do, because he sits fucking all the time, and he's fat. And if anything, you could say, well, look, he's also the president of the United States, so he's under a shitload of stress, even if he doesn't show it. Now, on that front, he might not give a shit because he's Trump. But everything else still applies. He's still fat. He still has a shitty diet. He doesn't exercise. Like, that's what I'm saying. I get what you're saying. Like, okay, he's just doing his thing and staying in his lane so he could stay alive forever. Or not forever, but, like, until he's really old. Yeah, it's true. It could happen. But my point is that it wouldn't even be... Like, if he were to die tomorrow, my reaction would be like, wow, he died. But I wouldn't be like, oh, there must have been foul play or something. Like, I feel like almost all of his supporters would be like, wow, something like the CIA definitely killed him or something. You see what I'm saying? But it's like, no, he was fucking 70 some odd years old and he's a fat ass.
Yeah, I could see that. I don't know. It's hard. I'm trying to think of people who have passed away in his range and like what they were doing.
If somebody passes away in their 70s, nobody goes, oh my God, who could have seen that coming? It's always like if you read somebody's obituary or some shit and it says died 71 or died 78, nobody's like, oh, so young.
Yeah.
Everybody's like, yeah, you die when you're that old. I mean, I think the average age that men live to in the U.S. is 82, I think it is. and women or 80,
Wow.
and women is 84.
That's pretty old.
You think that's old?
I think that's older than what
Okay.
I like normally tend to hear people dying.
Yeah,
at.
that's the average age is 80 something. But like in my mind, I'm thinking, why the fuck can't we live to 100 yet? Like, why can't it be 100? Why can't we get 100 years? Everybody on average. You know, that seems like it shouldn't be that hard to make it be 100. With scientist Kyle chiming in here. That's not hard, bro. Figure it out. Get me to live to 100.
Yeah, I mean, our world would also be fucked up if everyone was living to 100. It would just be like there'd be too many people in the world. Like the reason we're okay is because people die, and it like creates more space for other people.
You know, I was thinking about that because it is true. Like, let's say we came up with some sort of solution where people could live forever.
Mm-hmm.
You can't do that because then if people keep reproducing, there'd be so many people that there's no resources to handle all those people.
Exactly.
So, like, even if somebody cured death, like, we cured it, you don't have to die anymore. It's like, well, they would never give you that because then okay, so here's what they could do. If they cured death, I love this conversation. If they cured death, then you would just have to ban people from having kids. So it's like, that's it. For everybody that exists now, you're going to live forever, but we can't have any more people because if we have more people, then it's just going to get so overpopulated that we can't handle it. So it's either we don't release this thing and everybody dies, or we do release it and we cure death, but then you're not allowed to have kids. This is a good sci-fi novel. Somebody get on this if you haven't done it. It probably already exists because it seems
a world where people weren't allowed, like a reality show where people weren't allowed to have kids because they can live to forever.
No, not a reality show, like a sci-fi movie or something. Like they cured death. Mm-hmm. But then, so now people in this crazy dystopian world live forever, but they also want to have kids, so they have kids, but they got to hide them from the government. Because if the government finds out, then they kill you or something.
Yeah, that would be fucking crazy.
We just made this up right now, but I like it. I'm fucking with it. I like it. It's good.
I'm trying to think, like, when I played fucking pickup basketball last night, and there's 20 people at the court. It's like, you need eventually like 7 of those people to leave so you could get on next. But if those 20 people just stayed, like, you're never going to get on the court. Like, you need people to leave. You need people to die eventually to grow in the world. Like, that's how shit works.
I like how you brought it back to your pickup basketball game.
I was so excited to play pickup ball last night, man.
Were you fucking tired, though? Did you gas out quick? Yeah.
I was done. I hadn't exercised so long, and I just wanted to get my run in. Like, that was just my goal. Like, I wasn't going ham. I wasn't going to run back and forth.
Right.
But eventually, like, people start running and going hard.
And you're like, you got to keep up, and you're so out of breath.
You got to keep up, and people look at you because, like, I'm not, like, a out-of-shape looking dude, so people are like, oh, yeah, like, you must be nice. Like, are you not going hard? Like, are you not playing hard?
Meanwhile, you're like, I haven't exercised in, like, 4 months.
So one dude was like sort of like pudgy, and I don't know what it was, like
his
a
cardio
call or
was
something.
better? Was his cardio better? Yeah.
No, it wasn't. But
he
was like,
okay.
He was like, look at you, man. You skinny. You looking like you slim. And I was like, this is fake slim, man. Like, I'm mad out of shape. And he was just like, nah, this is out of shape. But then I was like, I was thinking about it. I was like, am I out of shape or is he out of like? It made me think, should I be out of breath for my? Because I'm not fat.
No, it's funny because I've thought about that too. Like, if you look at me, I don't look out of shape, but at the moment I'm out of shape. And it's not a matter of how, like, so if I were to go to a doctor, they'd weigh me and go, oh, you're not obese, you're not overweight, like, your heart's pumping fine, and you do fine on the physical. They'd be like, oh, you're good, you're fine. But if any kind of physical activity at the moment, if you were to try to get me to do something, run for a certain amount of time, there's no doubt I wouldn't perform well because I'm out of shape. So yeah, I would say that you're out of shape and I'm out of shape at the moment. I think to be in shape, you got to be able to do regular like physical exercise, like playing that pickup basketball game, and just be able to play and not have to ever stop and be like,
yeah.
Because back when we used to play when we were younger, you wouldn't even think, I certainly wouldn't think about ever being tired. You just keep playing.
Hell no.
It's not
games
a thought.
on games
you just,
on
okay,
games.
Even if you start breathing heavy at some point, you're able to play through it because you're just whatever. It's just you're breathing.
Yep.
But there's times where, like, there was one time you and I went to Iona to play.
Yeah.
This was after I was gone from there. But I remember gassing out quickly in a full court game. Like, gassing out quick. I was like, this is fucking sad. In fact, because me and you were used to playing half court games. And then there was enough people for a full court game. So it was like, let's get a full court. And I was like,
yeah.
And then we did it. And I was fucking lagging behind. And, people wanted me. I was taller than a lot of people there. So I had to play like a power forward or center type thing, which is crazy because I'm only 6 feet tall.
Yeah, I remember that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I remember gassing out quick and being like, this is crazy. Like, I'm looking at these people zip by me and shit. I'm struggling to get up and down the court. I was like, this is
I think that almost goes to like just like people don't always live up to the standards like that they look like. Like I'm thinking
of course,
like,
yeah. There are people who are heavy. Like, think about me or you standing next to Big Baby Davis, and people look at us and they go, obviously these dudes are gonna be able to run faster and fucking have more endurance. But Big Baby Davis would fucking destroy us because he's in shape, even though he's heavier.
Yep. Yeah. Like that dude looked at me and was like, "Oh, he's slim. He looks like he's in shape. He must be able to run, back and forth, this and that." But meanwhile, like he doesn't know. For the last 6 months, last year, I've been eating Wendy's, like Chinese food, all this shit.
Yeah.
Whereas sometimes I just look at someone when I'm playing ball and I'm trying to pick up a team. I'll see someone who's tall as fuck, and I'm just like, "Yo, you must know how to play basketball, right?" It's like, "No, man, I'm just a computer nerd." And I'm just like, "Nah, man, shut the fuck up. Like, you could bang in the post, right?" And it's just like you have these perceptions of people that like he's tall as fuck, he must know how to play basketball, but like that's not what it is. Like there's exceptions to the rule.
Yeah, it goes back to the thing that our moms would tell us when you're kids: don't judge a book by its cover.
Yeah,
you never fucking know. Like somebody could be nice and they look super like skinny and nerdy and fucking short, and then meanwhile they got quickest crossover and wet jump shot and all that.
Can you tell by looking at someone if you think they're like a nice, like a good, like a genuine good-hearted person? I feel they have a good radar on, like, I could look at someone and be like, I don't trust that dude.
I feel like I want to say yes to that, but I probably don't. I'm probably wrong. Like, I feel like I could be proven wrong, like, because everybody knows from my show, I'm a judgmental dude. Like, that's my whole fucking thing is I judge shit and then talk about it. Mm-hmm. So, like, yeah, I mean, I'm not immune from it. Like, there are some people you look at, like Ted Cruz has the most punchable face in human history. You just want to fucking punch that guy in the face because he just looks like a giant douche. Yeah. And, like, so do I get that feeling when I look at certain people? Yes. I like, oh, this fucking guy over here. Like, I get that all the time. But sometimes you're wrong, man. Like, and in fact, I was going to talk about, so remember, I feel like every year we talk about this. I had that family dinner thing that happens around Christmas. Last time I went to it and then we spoke about it. But anyway, you don't remember, I could tell. But so I was at this family dinner thing and this thing keeps growing where like it's like more distant family members are now coming where, now it's like probably maybe 40 people in the room or some shit when it was originally like 15 or 20. So it just keeps growing.
They're starting to find out about your YouTube channel. That's why there's more people.
So now it's like, like you got my mom's second cousin's fucking husband in there. And it's like, I'm so disconnected from these people. I don't know who the fuck they are. Mm-hmm. And like, so some of them, to your point, some of them, I look at them and I have a reading on them and it turns out the reading was totally accurate. Like there was this dude who I sat next to who was he was literally like a Sopranos character. Like literally, like he's wearing an all black like turtleneck. He's got his gold, Jesus fucking chain, cross chain over the turtleneck. Oh. And he was a nice guy, but he looked like a Sopranos character. And he's like, anyway, when I was talking about people over there, when I was down by the place over there. And he would just sound like a fucking Sopranos guy. And I was like, my reading on him was spot on. And everybody around me had the same kind of fucking reading. And then it was funny because he was like telling me a story at one point and it like became incoherent. And I was like, I like it. Kind of expected you to tell me a story and then for it to become incoherent. So like my fucking reading was spot on. But then so another person who's related to my mom, who isn't as distant. Turns out he had just heard about my channel, my YouTube channel, and he comes up to me and turns out he's a flaming liberal. And I was like, here my reading was dead wrong, because I thought this dude was like probably super conservative. So sometimes you're right, sometimes you're wrong. Sometimes that gut reaction is like just spot on, and then every single thing the person says or does proves it even further.
But what are you basing it off of? Because I think it's almost on some like deeper than like outside of what they look like what they're wearing. If they're wearing some grungy shit, you might think, oh, he's a liberal. Like,
no, it's everything. It's their fucking face. It's their facial motions and reactions, and
so deeper than just the outside shit.
Like, yeah, it's deeper than just the fucking what they're dressed like or whatever. Yeah, there's are certain faces that just look more trustworthy. But then again, to what extent do you... And it's funny, I think we all are guilty of this to one extent or another, because there's some people who look like they're bullshit artists and some people who look like they're fucking really honest. And, you know, it's almost not even that person's fault. Like, there could be somebody, just the way they talk comes across as almost like they're really douchey, but they could be like a really smart scientist telling you some really important shit.
Yeah.
And, you know, and vice versa. You could have somebody who sounds like they're a truth teller, but they're full of shit, like Trump. He sounds like, oh, I'm just going to tell it like it is. And then it's like, everything you just said was bullshit. So, I don't know. It's tough, man. It's tough. It's like, how do you navigate through all these different factors? I mean, I guess the best thing you got to do is try to put aside your prejudging until you get enough information to make a real judgment. You know what I mean? Yeah. But I think we're all guilty of that. You look at somebody and you have a gut kind of fucking feeling, you know what I mean? Where, and you know what? I've noticed it a lot. Like if I'm out somewhere and you see like douchey people who seem like they're rich, and then you see like somebody who's working and they're just like trying their best to get by. Like you get that sense when you look at the rich person, like, fuck you for not like even understanding, like treating this fucking waiter or waitress like shit. You know what I mean? But, I guess at that point, you're judging more their actions than just how they look up front. But, yeah, you got to try to balance it. You got to try to put... I'll try to put aside my biases and my gut reaction until I have more information. But I think we all are guilty of that. Like, you look at somebody and you're like, fuck this guy.
Yeah.
I get that with Ted Cruz. He was, like, the biggest example of it.
Yeah, his face is almost just like a crazy, like, fuck this dude type of shit. And then he starts speaking, and it's almost just like, definitely fuck this dude type of shit.
Yeah, he just verifies exactly what it was that everybody was thinking.
Fuck.
Are you team Scope or team Listerine for mouthwash?
Fuck, I don't even use mouthwash really, but I'm team Listerine 1,000%. Fuck Scope.
Now, what's your reasoning on that?
I don't know. I think I've always just been a Listerine. I think just that bottle speaks to me more. That like squarish looking bottle, as opposed to like that like curvy bottle.
You know what it's time for, right?
Do you have like a Listerine theme song or some shit?
I'm gonna poll it.
I think Listerine wins. I don't think Scope was ever meant to be a mouthwash, unless it. Is it a mouthwash only?
Yeah, of course it's a mouthwash.
Nah, Listerine wins that battle. I don't know why. I think Listerine... I don't know why it's so strong, Listerine. Scope's just never, resonated with me. Listerine has always just been that one. It's been, like, a bigger bottle. And I feel like you don't get your bang for the buck with the Scope bottle. The Scope bottle doesn't seem as big as the Listerine bottle.
So I'm going to tell you my reasoning in a second here and my ultimate decision.
Are you Team Scope?
No, I'm Team Listerine.
Okay. Yeah, well, yeah, I would like to hear why, because I don't know why I'm Team Listerine, but I am very strongly Team Listerine.
So I have kind of a weird answer, which is I think Listerine, you feel like you're getting your mouth cleaner. Like it feels like it does a better job of keeping your mouth clean because it it gives you that little bit of like a sting almost. Like you use it, you're washing it around your mouth, and you do the gargle thing, and it's like, it just feels like it gives you a little bit of a sting, a little bit of a burn, a little bit of a like, yeah, we're killing the fucking germs in your mouth. And with Scope, you don't get that. You just get like kind of like, feels like you have something that tastes kind of okay in your mouth that's not. And then
I don't think Scope has ever been known for like a mouthwash type of like.
Hell yeah, they have. Hell yeah, for sure. That's like Scope and Listerine are like the two biggest. I mean, I guess there's the store brand ones and shit.
I think if you were to look up like when Listerine started as a brand, like being mouthwash, and when Scope started looking up like being a brand as mouthwash, Listerine would shit on Scope. I think Scope is newer to the game, and that's why I just almost write it off as like Scope.
Damn, that's harsh. Like, because I went through a phase where I like Scope more because there's one of the Scopes, I think it's the green one, where I like the taste of it, but I almost wish it tasted like that, but it was stronger and it gave me more of that burn. And also the Listerine one, I think other people smell the Listerine one more, and like they'll catch a hint of your breath and be like, oh, like that's pleasant, you know what I mean? Whereas Scope, you'll use Scope, and Scope feels like it just keeps away the bad breath, not like it gives you good breath. Whereas Listerine will give you good breath.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We should fucking be paid by Listerine and Scope for this conversation, because I guarantee you that there's at least 150 people listening to this that are like, I want to go use some mouthwash right now. I don't know if you ever get that. Sometimes I get that feeling. Like, I'll just be laying there. I'll be like, I want to use some mouthwash right now. And then you do it, and you're like, it feels minty fresh. You said you're not a mouthwash person. I'm
not really a mouthwash person, but my uncle was a dentist. And this has nothing to do with mouthwash.
That's all right. Keep it going.
But he would say it's more important to floss your teeth than it is to brush your teeth.
Really?
Yeah. He would say like obviously don't not brush your teeth.
Right.
But if you were to have an option of like flossing your teeth or brushing your teeth, floss your teeth.
No, then I'm fucked.
And I would never floss my teeth, and I would be so confused. I would be like, "What?" Like brushing, I feel like is the shit.
Yeah, I feel like it's the shit too. I don't floss that often.
I don't floss that much, but I use the little like the little sticks, the little.
Yeah. Those are the things I use too when I floss. The stick one. Yeah, but
bad breath is important, man, and like.
My breath is
mouthwash being around for like so long.
My breath is always pretty fresh. You know what when you won't have fresh breath is if you don't eat for a really long time.
Yeah.
Then your stomach, like everything in the fucking pit of your stomach is just like smells from 1987 just fucking emanating out your mouth.
And it's weird how you can't smell your breath sometimes, but then like someone will be like, your breath is pumping.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And like you try to do like the burp and like cough, like cover it into your nose, and you can't do it.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's hard to tell like what your fucking breath smells like.
Yeah, sometimes though you can. Sometimes I could sense it, and I'm like, this is not okay.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, usually it's good. Damn, there was something else I wanted to bring up, but I'm forgetting it now. Oh, I went to the to get something to eat today. And I looked outside. I'm like, it is fucking cold out there.
It's cold today out here.
And then so I put on my winter jacket, and I started walking. And I was already like halfway to the place I was going. And I realized, motherfucker, it's damn near 60 degrees outside. It was damn near 60 degrees outside.
And you were cold?
No. And I was wearing this heavy-ass jacket. And I'm like, I'm fucking burning up. So I'm sitting out there. I'm looking around. People, you could have wore a T-shirt today around here. Mm-hmm. But I felt so stupid online to get something to eat, and everybody else is wearing like something light. I'm wearing a fucking winter coat and like a winter hat, and I'm burning up. And I'm in this place. When I walked inside, it was like fucking 75 degrees inside, and I'm wearing this thing, probably sweating my balls off.
Some shit used to fucking bug me out. Like different trends with winter coats, like the winter coats that had like the fuzzy Eskimo shit on the end of it. You remember those on the hood? There would be like that fuzzy Eskimo looking shit. Yes,
those were hot for a while. People would wear those.
It's just like that part of the coat's not keeping you warm.
That's a good point. I never thought of that.
Like It's just for the fucking style trend of that shit
That's a good
that
point.
people wore it. I don't know.
No, I never thought of that, but that's a really good point. That's a
And
really
people
good
always
point.
get mad at me because like I'm not a big winter jacket type of person. And like just everyone has an opinion or like a comment to say nowadays or some shit. So if you're going somewhere and it's cold and they're like, "Well, where's your winter jacket? What are you doing?"
So what do you
And
wear in the winter?
I just wear either like a sweater or like whatever the fuck I'm wearing, like a long sleeve or like a light jacket. I don't have like a crazy winter jacket. And I tell them I blast the heat in my car,
Uh-huh.
and then when I get to my destination, I just walk inside, and that place is normally heat. Like that place is not going to be brick. It's not out. Like
Yeah. And you're warm enough when you
and I'm warm enough.
Yeah.
Like you really just need a jacket. Like if you're like chilling outside for an extended amount of time, which during the winter time when it's really cold outside, you're normally not doing.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Like if I'm outside shoveling my driveway, I'm gonna put mad layers on so I'm warm.
Yeah.
But like when I'm going to work or something like that, or if I'm going to a restaurant and I was like,
Yeah,
"Oh,
you're
you
not
have a jacket?"
you're not planning on being outside for more than fucking
Yeah.
like 4 minutes. So what are you going to do? It's not Yeah, I hear you. I used to do that. I used to be like that all the time. I would like never wear a jacket. But then now I think I probably wear them more often. But what if I really want to get warm though? What I'll do is I'll throw on like cuz I'll play golf even when it's like as long as it's like 40 degrees or above, I'll play golf. And that's a lot colder than most people will play golf in. Most people have like a limit at like 55 degrees or whatever. But so I'll throw on 2 thermals because you can't wear a heavy jacket when you're golfing. You just
Yeah.
can't. You can't swing the club that way. So I'll wear like 2 thermals and a wool sweater, and then you're good. You're good. You can be good on that to like 35 degrees. Like you could be good with a couple thermals. You ever
You're
wear
still
thermals or
mobile
no?
and stuff like that. Yeah. I'm all about the thermals.
So if you really want to be warm, you throw on the thermal bottoms too. But those get a little uncomfortable to me though. I don't know why. But it's like extra layer of skin though, which is why it keeps you warm.
Well, they have like tights now. They have
That's
like
what I'm saying. Those are the ones
Yeah.
that you wear. You throw them on
Yeah.
under your golf pants or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But like it's just like an extra layer of skin, so it keeps you warm.
Mm-hmm.
So, but you know what's crazy? Like, how do people? There's certain temperatures where it's like, nope, not interested. Like you get below 0, and that happens. Like there are places that get that all the time. You know?
There's a different cold out here in the Midwest. Like in New York, it's brick. I came out here, parked my car on the street, and had to walk, I think, maybe a block and a half. It was just different. Like it was like I don't want to be fucking living anymore. Like it's too fucking cold.
No
And I was
shit.
walking a block and a half. Just because
Wow.
it was like it was a type of cold that I was just like, this is and I think I even might have had a jacket on. And I was like, this is too cold. So there's cold that I respect people that are like, this is too fucking cold.
Well, that's what they say. Joe Rogan was saying that about New York to somebody the other day. That like you get a different kind of person when it snows every winter and it gets cold every winter. We're in LA, they don't have to deal with any of that shit.
Yeah.
But I think your point is right, which is I've been in New York my whole life. I don't think anything of when it snows, but if you're talking about that serious, like Midwestern frigid type cold, the one where like the wind hits you and you feel like it's somebody injected fucking Arctic ice water directly into your veins and chilled you to your core, where you're so cold your fucking spine is shivering, like your skin doesn't even exist. You're just a slave to that feeling. Yeah, that's the kind of cold that it's like, whoa, I don't know how anybody.
Like I
deals
was
with
driving
this
on the
shit.
highway and there was a car. I was at this point once because I got a flat tire. My car like fucked up. I had to pull up to the side of the road and like a lady stopped and was like, "Are you okay? Do you need help? Blah blah this and that." And like to me, that was like that's fucking awesome. Like that was very nice of this lady to stop. And it was cold out today, and I saw a car stopped, and I was like, I can't fucking stop. It's just too fucking cold. Like I don't even know. It's just too cold.
I like how we casually admit that people are better than us here. Like, oh, that person was just better
Oh,
than me.
100%. There's like in New York, upstate New York is so different than downstate
Oh,
New
of
York
course,
because
yeah.
upstate New York, I don't know who this happened with. I might have been in the car. I could be making the
Somebody will
story up
help you.
totally.
Yeah.
Someone helped you. Yeah, like we were stopped on the side of the
Because
road.
there's not as many people around either. So it's like they know you're kind of fucked if you're in that situation. Whereas here they're like, bitch, call somebody.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's more towing companies or there's more like
Yeah.
car shops to help you. Whereas upstate, yeah, maybe there aren't as many. But people aren't, I don't know, they should be more afraid. But upstate, the dude stopped and was like, hey, do you need help? You okay? All right, I'll get out of here. And here it was just too cold. But whereas maybe like if this was in Miami and it was like 80 degrees outside and my radio was blasting and I saw the car
Yeah,
stop.
no way they'd help you.
Well, no, I'm saying maybe I would help them because it's like it's nice out.
Oh, you would help them in Miami. Oh.
Yeah,
I wouldn't
as
even
opposed to
think
here.
about helping somebody on the side of the road in Miami because my thought process would be it's 80 degrees, it's beautiful, there's people everywhere, and you know damn well you have a cell phone, so pick it up and call the nearest gas station and have them help you. What's the problem? But the thing is, like you were saying, in upstate New York, or if you're in some rural place, people know when they drive by you, like, if I don't help this motherfucker. Remember when you and me drove to North Carolina and we were nearing the end of it and it took us off the highway
Coming back or going?
going there.
Yeah.
And then we were taken off the highway, the GPS did. And they
Yeah.
took us through some country-ass North Carolina back roads. Where
Churches, billboards.
All
yeah.
you see is like sign for Jesus, gun store, sign for Jesus. Like
Fireworks.
That's it. Yeah, and so there were no street lights, no nothing. So like in that situation, if we broke down and there's no gas station even open at that time in fucking North Carolina, those motherfuckers shut everything down at like 7. They're like, that's it, day's done. You better be home by that time. So I feel like in that situation, yeah, if somebody drove by, they'd be like, y'all need some help. Whereas, if you're in New York City and your shit breaks down,
A lot more shit is
call
open.
Bob's Towing Company, which is literally 2.5 blocks that way.
Yeah.
So, and then also, like, yeah, if you're in a big ass city, you never know. Like, somebody could be, like, you let somebody in your car or you get help from somebody, they could fucking rob you. You never know in a big city. Like, anything could happen.
It's just crazy to think, like, where you're from is just different. Your perspective you have your outlook on life is just different. Like, us being around from New York City, we know more things and we're a little bit more savvy with like, hey, this person's a little shady. Maybe we don't do this. Whereas like
we're skeptical. I feel like we were talking about this the other
skeptical.
time. We're more skeptical and more like people don't. It's such a common thing to just go about your business and nobody even starts a conversation with you. Like everybody's just kind of going about their business.
Exactly. That's why, like, when I was upstate and like the dude, I think I was in this car, and again, I could be making the story up, but maybe, like, when I pulled over and the guy came up and was just like, "Hey, you need help?" and my mentality was just like,
He's trying to fuck me.
no, like it could have just been like, why is this guy stopping? I could have robbed him or I could have killed him. Like, he doesn't know what the fuck is going on.
Sure.
Whereas like when you grow up around the city, you're more prone to just like knowing those things.
Yeah,
and,
you know who you know. Like, you have your friends who are your friends who you met in a context where you made friends in that context, whether it's school or fucking work or whatever. Mm-hmm. And then people who are not from that context, it's not like the welcome mat is laid out and it's like, let's immediately become friends.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's more of a, like, okay, I don't know you, you don't know me, let's keep it moving type thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
You're not open, to becoming, I don't know.
I feel like we end up shitting on our home state of New York by accident when we do these podcasts.
No, not shitting on our state, but it's just like...
Well, they do say, just to give credit to everybody in the more rural states, that, like, especially in the South at least, they do say there's fucking Southern hospitality. That's a thing.
Yeah.
That's an actual thing. I mean, I remember when I played golf for a bachelor party at a famous golf course in South Carolina. South Carolina, North Carolina?
We went to a golf course when we were in North Carolina.
Yeah, not that one. We went to some which, by the way, for people who listen to this show who are golfers, all 7 of you, when me and Corin went to a golf course, we were in North Carolina when we went there.
That grass
what it
was
cost,
fucked up.
$8
Like,
it cost or something
it was
ridiculously
like
cheap.
fucking $7 or $8.
Yeah, like we're talking. When did we go? Do you think 2012 or something like that? It was like 2012.
I don't know the year.
Oh, let's just say I think it was around 2012.
I think it was out of season though, because I remember the grass was fucked up. It was like yellow.
But the shit was fucking $18 or $8 to golf. And then my favorite story of this, I was like, I really like this. There was a charm about it because it was so it's fucking $8 to play golf is like unbelievably good. Like that shit costs $50 around New York, you know? So, or by the city, I should say. It's sometimes even more. So it was like $8. Me and Corin play golf. We get halfway through. We finish the 9th hole. And then we're like, let's get something to eat, man. Let's go inside. Let's get something to eat. And so we walk into like the halfway fucking house thing where you get your food. They got, little fucking counter and they got whatever, some Snickers bars, maybe some hot dogs or soft pretzels or some shit. And we walk in and nobody's behind the counter. You remember this story? Nobody's behind the counter. We're like, what the fuck is going on here? And then I see the guy who had checked us in earlier in the adjacent building who, when we paid to play. So we walk in there and we're like, oh, hey, man, we want to get, we were going to, grab something to eat. I
think we just settled on like peanut butter and jelly or something.
We're halfway through and he's like, all right. And then he gets out from around the counter. He walks over, gets behind the thing. He's like, how can I help y'all? I'm like, yo, they got one dude running the entire golf course. He probably mows the grass, does the food.
That ass.
But I liked it. It was something like very charming about that. But anyway, the other story I was talking, Pinehurst. I played Pinehurst, and famous course. They've held like golf majors there. They have a beautiful resort. And I remember I was like literally amazed at how nice people were that I was like, you're fucking with me, right? Like
just because they were so
nice. They
were
just so fucking nice. Oh my God, it was ridiculous. They were just so fucking accommodating and sweet and like caring. And I was like, you're fucking with me though, right? Because I was like, whoa, this is fucking different. There's only one time in my life I had experienced that level of like just niceness. And it was when I was a kid and I worked at, I was probably like 14, 15. And I worked at a golf range around here, and some dude there, everybody would just be like, get a large, some shit, and you give them the large bucket, and then they go about it. Then there was this one dude who go, hey man, how you doing? I was wondering if would it be all right? Could I have a large, please? That's $8. Oh, okay, $8. Hey man, thanks a lot. I really appreciate that. Like he was just really nice. I was like, whoa. It's weird how much of an effect that had on me. Where I literally remember the guy to this day. Like I'm telling you about a fucking dude from when I was 14 years old who was just super nice. Where I was like, man, this guy, like, it made such an impression, and he was so different from the other people that I was like, I'm talking about it now. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, well, think about that. Think about that on the reverse side, where it's like someone from the fucking super nice town coming to New York for their first time.
Oh, exactly. Good point,
and someone shoulder shoving them on the subway or something like that.
That's such a good point, man. Because I didn't think about it in that reverse way, but you're right. So, there are people who would say, like, New Yorkers are assholes. Yeah, well, if they had that opposite experience that I had with the niceness people, well, yeah, I would feel the same way probably. If you're used to everybody being super nice and then you come here and you experience, like, you're standing next to somebody and they're, like, refusing to make eye contact with you, and then they say something to you and they're like, looking at you like, what the fuck? Yeah, they could be like, fuck this place.
Yeah, and that's their memory. Is like, I met this guy in New York one time, and he was just a dick. He was cold, Yeah. And that's how that shit is with overseas too. It's like, and that's how perception of like Americans get out, because it's like they meet one fucking Jersey Shore dude who goes to like Paris or something and like is just like a typical bro,
obnoxious fuckhead. Yeah.
Yeah, they fucking start spreading that word that this like Americans are just assholes, and it's just like, well, no, you haven't met all of us.
You heard that's coming back, Jersey Shore?
Yeah, I saw that shit, man.
You seem depressed by it.
I'm over that. Like, I'm over.
Did you ever watch it or no?
I watched, I think, the first season, the first 2 seasons, or something like that before it like started
were there?
It started getting like, once they start going overseas and once they start doing stupid shit, your show is just becoming too much.
Yeah, that's a good point. Whenever
like when I fucked with Saved by the Bell hard, and I fucked with the college years.
Yeah.
But once they went to the college years, I still was like, Hmm.
I
It's like
actually liked it. I liked it, but
no, I
I was a
liked
little
it.
nerd.
Yeah. No, I mean but it wasn't as good as like them playing Valley in like regular
Yeah, well,
say
that's my
playoffs.
feelings on like NBA on TNT when they do the on the scene shows. We're like, we're at game fucking
Yeah.
4 of this playoff game, and there's like people in the stadium behind them, like
Mhm.
screaming, like Shaq, I love you, bro. And some dude's eating a hot dog, and some women's holding up a number 1 finger, and everybody's making noise. It's like why are you there? It's not adding anything to the fuck. You go to the studio.
Yeah.
Why are you not
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
studio? I like you perfectly fine in the studio. You're funny. It flows. You don't have to deal with anybody's shit. Like, why are you there? It doesn't make a difference.
Yeah.
If anything, it makes a difference in the wrong direction.
For real. When your show starts doing too much extra shit, like it's just becoming too much.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not like Jersey Shore coming back, like chill. Like it was hot for when it was hot. Give it up. Like some things just need to be good and die.
Italian Americans hated that show. Like the Italian American organizations.
Sure.
They were like, this is fucking disrespectful, and it
It's such a
portrays us as like
yeah,
monkeys.
stereotype of like what people think Italians are.
They would do the gym tanning laundry. I think the thing was GTL. They'd go to the gym, they'd tan, and they do their laundry. And then
I fucking gel my hair how it is out here. You gel your hair, and it's just like I'm sure you've talked to people outside of New York that's just like, oh, Jersey Shore kid, because your hair is gelled, and you're just like, no, I just gel my hair. I'm not like Paulie.
no, to
Like,
be fair, when I had the Pauly for a long time.
yeah,
In high
everybody
school.
had the blow, but like,
No,
once
not
you-
every. Only in our area, everybody did.
Yeah,
Not, that wasn't
then-
a thing in fucking Kansas. People were
on the
doing
flip
a
side, they had
blowout.
those shows in California, like the OC and Laguna Beach, whatever they had.
Yeah, of course. And
So
those
anytime
guys
you go
were
to
wearing
Cali-
the Bieber haircut with the fucking bowl.
Yeah, that's what you think of California is just like all these bro people like surfing. That's all you see when you don't go somewhere. Is like you got to take the word of a TV show.
Did you ever see the Family Guy when they rip on those kinds of shows like fucking Orange County and Smallville and like all those teenager shows, One Tree Hill? They do.
All
They make fun of all of them. It's like they show like 2 people standing by like a locker in a high school, and one's like, "Hey man, what's going on?" The other one's like, "I got so many problems." And that just perfectly encapsulated all those shows. It's like these fucking rich ass high school kids, and they're like, "Oh, I'm so complex and complicated. Why can't anybody feel my pain?"
It's so stupid. Like these shows want you to laugh at shit they think is just like what's happening in the world, but it's just like, no, it's not funny.
Yeah.
No one's laughing. If you're laughing, you're corny. And fuck you for still watching like network TV and still laughing at this shit.
Those shows were so fucking.
Like people got more enjoyment out of this shit that is not natural for the show. Like when that dude fucking knocked out Snooki,
Oh shit! Yeah,
it was just like that wasn't supposed to happen.
that was
on
like the
show.
biggest episode. Yeah, and that wasn't
That's
supposed to
what I'm
happen.
saying.
Some dude assaulted a girl.
Yeah, like the shit that's irregular is the
Yeah.
shit that people like have a tendency to like more than the actual show. Like the fucking Goldbergs on ABC is like the stupidest show ever.
Wait, the Goldbergs? I never heard of this. Does it
Yeah,
follow
it's just
Bill
like
Goldberg, the wrestler? No.
No. Oh, actually, he was in one of the episodes.
Oh shit.
Yeah. And it's just like a corny family that's just corny as fuck. But I'm sure if I were to watch like the outtakes or bloopers or raw footage of them like just being stupid or like them fucking up in a scene, I'd probably like that 100 times more than what the actual show was.
Well, one of them, what's his face? The guy everybody hated, the Situation. He's in like big trouble. He's in tax trouble. I think
Is he still?
I think he was supposed to go to prison or something for a little bit. But
That was a while ago. That was like years ago.
Well, so maybe he went and he's out. I don't know, but he's in the reunion, I think, because I saw a promo picture. I think he was in it. I mean, I could be wrong, but I thought that's what I
feel
saw.
like you would have to be in it to like, for that, like, you can't make a remake of Jersey Shore and then just have like not the people who made Jersey Shore.
There was one girl who had left early. I don't know. I remember
Yeah.
this. It was like
I know
the
what you're
first
talking
or
about.
second episode. She was there and she was like, "I can't take this. I'm leaving." And then she left, and then those motherfuckers made bank, son. Bank.
Yeah.
Imagine she's looking back on it going, fuck, if I just sucked up my fucking feelings and just dealt with it for a season.
I feel like it was like Angela or something like that, or Angelina.
I think that might be right. Yeah, something like that. It's all the same shit.
Yeah.
Vinny or fucking
Paulina.
Angie over there, Paulina.
It was crazy is we went to Jersey Shore for was it our like
it was like prom post party or something
thing
like that. Yeah.
And that was pre Jersey Shore, right?
I think it was. Yeah, I think it was pre Jersey Shore.
Because like the boardwalk was there, and I think if Jersey Shore was hot, like people would have wanted to check out the house or seen the house.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, no, it definitely was pre Jersey Shore because that was in 06 for us, right?
Yeah, we stayed at some random motel like that had a pool in the front or something, if I remember correctly.
Yep.
Yeah, wow, the Jersey Shore. That was the first that's the only time I'd have been to the Jersey Shore. I've never been to Staten Island. Like weird place. You've been to Staten Island, right?
Oh,
Your
of course.
sister living in Staten Island? Yeah. I've never been to Staten Island. I've never had any like reason to go out there. I know if you speak to a lot of New Yorkers, probably like they haven't been to Staten Island if you're not from Staten Island.
Oh, of course. In the same way that a lot of New Yorkers, probably haven't been to fucking Syracuse or Buffalo or Rochester or It's crazy how New York is because for people who don't know, like the bottom tip of New York, that's where New York City is. The most bottom tip of the entire fucking state. And then as you go up the line, it basically gets like, so you got New York City, then you got Westchester County, which is right above New York City. So it's very populated because New York City is obviously super populated and many people live in Westchester, commute to the city. And then right above Westchester County, you have, what is that, Putnam County, that is, right?
Yeah, Putnam or Dutchess, one of the two or something.
And so, but then the more north you go...
Or Rockland.
The more north you go, and the more west you go, it's like super populated, and then it just gets less and less and less, and then it gets rural. And then you have sprinkles of some places, like you'll have Syracuse or Buffalo or fucking Rochester, but it's like most of the entire fucking state is rural, and then the bottom part is where New York City is, and that's where it's super populated. So it's funny, because if you look at an electoral map for the 2016 primary, what you see is New York City, Hillary Clinton. Westchester County, Hillary Clinton. Everywhere else, Bernie. So,
Bernie? I thought upstate, like Syracuse area, was like Trumpy, sort of getting weird.
No, I'm saying the primary, the 2016 primary.
Oh, primary.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then, but that's a good point too, because then when you get to the general election, you see, so for the primary, it was all Bernie in the rural, and then just one little dot of Hillary, but that's where all the population center is. And so even though the rest of the state went to Bernie, didn't matter because there were more people in the little dot there. And then same thing for Trump, all of northern New York, Trump, and the little dot down by the cities, Hillary. So it's interesting, and that goes across the country too. For like Hillary won like all the cities, and then all the areas that were rural went Bernie in the primary, Trump in the general. So there's a real dichotomy there, city versus, rural, and then suburban could go either way depending on, the demographics of it, the income level of it, and all that stuff.
This new tax plan's really gonna fuck people up.
Oh hell yeah! Well, the good news is that it hasn't. So
it won't take place for a while. My wife was saying, or something like that. 2019.
It passed the Senate, but it didn't. Now the House needs to work on it, and then they would need to pass. They would need to pass it too. So it's not.
So how does it pass? How does it pass the Senate so easily? There's enough Republican voters that just agree to this shit.
Well, now, yeah, the Republicans have a majority,
okay,
and they went through this thing called budget reconciliation. Which means
and all of them are just sellouts that they just fucking approve that shit like that?
So. Yes. Which means they don't need... See, the way it worked was if you don't go through reconciliation, you need 60 votes or more to get something passed. You need a supermajority. But if you go through budget reconciliation, you just need 51. So they have the votes that way. But this isn't law yet because the same bill hasn't passed the House. So the House is going to make changes and then try to pass it. So there's still stuff that has to happen. But it's still, I mean, the fact that this even got through the Senate is just fucking unbelievable because it's every analysis of it was the same as like with Trump's healthcare plan, which is like there's not a single analysis of it that has positive numbers for it.
But his healthcare plan was getting shot down, right? I mean, like that's.
Oh yeah, his healthcare plan didn't get through. It didn't get through because there were a few. I think Susan Collins and John McCain. There were like 3 Republicans who were like, I can't do it because usually what happens is you have any Republicans who are from blue states. They feel more pressure to not go along with Trump on everything because if they're from a blue state, they think I got to be more centrist, basically.
Yeah. Makes sense.
So, and the numbers that came out on the healthcare plan were just so bad that they couldn't. Like, I mean, we're talking about 20 million more people uninsured, an increase of premiums in the prices like 20 or 30%. It gutted Medicaid funding, and a lot of these senators were like, I can't, like, you're going to fucking make people in my state uninsured, and then I'm going to get blamed, and I'm going to get voted out, so they didn't vote for it. With this tax plan, I don't know, the same fucking thing is going to happen. If this gets through, I mean, it raises taxes on everybody who makes $75,000 a year or less, which is the overwhelming majority of the country.
Yeah.
But what they do is, they cut them up front, and then those provisions, there's a sunset clause on it. So it's like the tax breaks run out and then it rises up later. So like you might see some the middle class people and poor people might see a little bit of a benefit up front, but then as time goes by, that goes away. But the things that are permanent in the bill are the corporate tax cuts, are the fucking estate tax repeal, are the dividends tax cut. So like all the taxes.
A random like no tax on private jets or some shit like that.
Exactly. So all the taxes that help rich people and corporations, those are permanent. All the ones that help the middle class are temporary. So I mean, it was written by 6,000 lobbyists. I just covered the story. Like literally 6,000 lobbyists got together and were like, we're gonna fucking craft this thing.
And what does lobbyist mean? Like
lobbyist means it's people who are working on behalf of some organization. And in this case, with the tax bill, you're talking about people who are working on behalf of fucking banks, just big financial institutions. So, yeah.
Crazy.
No, it is. It's fucking terrible. It's absolutely terrible. That bill is...
Someone like Warren Buffett is so fucking cool, man. I saw an interview with him, and he's just like, donates all of his money. He gets paid like $100,000 or less than $100,000 from his... whatever he works for, and he's just like, that's all I need.
Yeah,
I'm fine.
That guy is. I mean, that's the thing is, guys like Warren Buffett, guys like Bill Gates. I mean, they have to be taxed more, and those guys will say it. They'll be like, "Tax me more. You should fucking tax me more," because they have more money than they know what to do with. The story came out the other day. The Amazon guy, Jeff Bezos.
Yeah.
He has over $100 billion now. You literally can't find enough shit to spend on with $1 billion.
And then even with his company trying to find a new office space or something like that, and they get all the tax breaks.
It's even worse than that. I covered the story on this. It's unbelievable what these places are offering Amazon. So Amazon, for people who don't know, when me and Corin are talking about, Amazon is trying to find a place to put their second headquarters. So all these cities are like, we want that shit. So, but what's happening is the cities are giving Amazon stuff and saying, hey, we'll do this for you if you bring it here. And a lot of them are saying, listen, we'll give you fucking billions of dollars. I think New Jersey offered like $7 billion. They're just going to give Amazon $7 billion to put the headquarters there. But other ones are like, we will literally let you tax your, like, so when the workers at your store pay tax, you will get it. So the taxes aren't going to go to the government. They're going to go to you, and you decide what to do. It's like, you can't even fucking, how can you do that? That's fucking like fascism. You're going to make the state and corporations merge. That's what fucking Mussolini said was fascism. So what do you, I mean, that's fucking, that's, I have no words.
Yeah.
But this is what they're talking about. Because, and look, that's the thing is, when you allow people to get rich beyond a point that's reasonable, they have enough money to buy the system. So in other words, you no longer have a democracy, you no longer have a functioning government. You have an oligarchy, you have a kleptocracy, you have a plutocracy, you have government of, by, and for the people who can buy it. And that's what you get when you have people that have $100 billion, $50 billion. That's more money than any person can really spend in their lifetime.
Yeah.
So what you're doing is you're saying you can just fucking run wild, you own this country, and you get to do whatever you want. And meanwhile, we don't even have a living wage. People could work full time and not make enough money to survive. And we're talking about fucking somebody has $100 billion. Tax them, man. Tax these people. This is why you need a progressive tax rate. I mean, Tom Hartman, who's a different progressive radio host, his idea is nobody should be able to have more than $1 billion. Everything you make over $1 billion is taxed at 100%. So you can max out and I have $1 billion, but you can never have more than $1 billion.
I'm with that. Fucking $1 billion is enough money, man.
I used to not be with that, but I'm thinking now I might be with that because that's... You can't fucking spend more than that. And if you are spending more than that, chances are you can fucking switch that into the political system and buy politicians and rig everything. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, maybe there should be a max. They should tie it to inflation, but there should be a max. Anyway, I think that's a good note to end on. All right, guys. We love you. Everybody send Corin some love on Twitter for getting home from his...
Stop fucking hating on my grammar, man. This shit's gonna be fucked up.
You're gonna get trolls, man. That's how it is. That's just the nature of the internet. But send him some love on Twitter for getting out of his party and coming here for us anyway. We love you guys, and we'll talk to you soon. Peace.